My brothers, we are talking about the golden rule today. And I smile because, in one sense, this is as big as it can get. So I've often marveled at the idea of the Bible, right? The most well-read book of all time, the thing that has been so central in human culture for thousands of years, right? The Bible, think about it, right? Like so big. And in this whole wisdom-filled, thousands of different versions of this Bible, there's one golden rule. One golden rule, one sentence basically that was uttered by Jesus. Do unto others as you would want to have done to yourself. Another way to say it, how I like to translate it, is to treat others, to treat the world as you want to be treated. And we're going to talk about that today. Okay, I want to break it down a little bit because I think that while it's just kind of fun and fascinating to think about the golden rule, I want to go a little deeper. I want to actually talk about its meaning and even go into how we can apply this in our day-to-day lives. This is a big one. Okay, and I want you to stay for this entire meeting, this entire video, because I think we're going to get to something that is quite profound here around what is really at stake for our lives when understanding this quite simple yet profound statement. And with that said, I also want you to know that while the golden rule is definitely something that is in the Bible, it's biblical, Jesus did utter it, and it comes from that tradition. As you guys know, what we do in Man for Man is non-denominational. I pull stuff from often many different religions and wisdom traditions. The golden rule itself is not just found in the Bible. It is found in other places, in other texts. This is, not something that is solely written in the Bible. But I do want to honor that as well. And so if you're somebody that, this is your tradition, I want to honor that. Okay. It's all inclusive here with what we do. What I'm trying to get to is just what the wisdom behind these things are, whether it is within the Bible, something Jesus said, whether it is in something the Buddha taught, whether it is something in the Bhagavad Gita or any of these other kind of more esoteric wisdom tradition books that we sometimes talk about. The point is that, in my belief, is that within these ancient texts, there are elements of wisdom that are so true that in modern times, in the crazy world we're living in, we often forget about them. And they are so simple and so true that we need to bring it back. We need to have a conversation around it. We need to look at it and say, well, what does this mean? How can this apply to my daily life? And that's why I'm really excited to be here doing this, because nothing relates to that more than this golden rule. As we're going to see, this is so relevant for every single person right now. And there's things that you could be doing around it. And with that said, I also want you to know that everything I'm sharing here is just an inquiry. There's no direct answers. That's what's so beautiful about stuff like this. This just has to make you think about how to act, about how to be. At the end of the day, you're here because there are things in this life that you want to achieve, that you want to experience, and that's okay. You are in the right place if you're interested in this topic, and you want to see how it can help you. Whether it's in your health, your fitness, your job, your career, your money, your relationships. Okay, this is why we do this. Right? Because there's things that you want in this life to be more optimized, to be better, to up level. That's totally okay. It's what we're about. And sometimes we take more esoteric ideas like this golden rule and we break them down and see how they can be applied in our day to day while we're doing some other really tangible work of moving the needle. So let's kind of jump in and talk about this sentence, the golden rule, do unto others as you would want to have done to yourself, or treat others and treat the world exactly how you want to be treated. And when I meditate on this, I really think about that second part first, as you would want to be treated. It makes you think, doesn't it? Well, how do I want to be treated? How do I want to be treated? What do I want to experience in this life? I mean, that's what Jesus was pointing to with the question. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? Now, there are things that we share that we want, right? We might all share, well, we want a peaceful life. We want a healthy life. We want a life filled with joy. Okay, there's things that are universal for the most part for humans, for us, that we want, and that's okay. And there are things that we may want specifically. We may want to have a lot of money. We may want to have a lot of adventures and travel. We may, as individuals, want to compete and have some physical prowess in the world. I don't know. Whatever it is that you want, the golden rule just begets and points you in that direction. Because treat others in the world exactly how you want to be treated We have to start there. How do you want to be treated? What is it that you want to experience? Okay? Basic life exploration. And what I love about this golden rule, and why I do believe that it is one of those things that is so simple yet so profound, is that right away what Jesus does, he flips it on its head and he says, treat others, treat the world exactly how you want to be treated. Meaning, another way to look at it is all the things that you want to achieve and experience, provide it for others. Make sure others have that experience. We often don't think about it that way, right? Like there's things that we want and we're doing all this work. We're doing work on ourselves. We're doing work on our physicality. We're doing things, internally. Like we're doing all these things. We're talking to people. We're joining groups. We're doing programs. We're growing. Like we're definitely growing and we're doing all this stuff. But what he's saying is something totally different. It's like, no, hold on. Actually, provide all that you want to others. It's almost like a shockingly clear statement. Okay, it almost like makes things very simple in a sense. And I think that where Jesus and others who talk about this go to is this idea that we have these internal and external realities, right? Like, so I'm this guy sitting here named Todd, and I have this body and this mind and these emotions and all these things going on, and then I have this world around me that I perceive. I have my family, my friends, my work situations, my money situations, my hopes, my dreams, all these things that are like external of me, as do you, right? You have your internal life, your notion of identity, your idea of self and who you are, excuse me. And then you have your external world, your people, your family, your situations, your friends, right? And we really go through this life with this very kind of polar experience of like our internal selves and then our external selves. And the golden rule is this attempt to bridge those things, right? It's the attempt to bridge those things. Oftentimes, and I want to know if this resonates with you, we have this internal desire, these wants, these needs to have love, to have peace, to have abundance, to have flow, to have purpose, right? Totally okay. Give me a chest tap if you want those things, right? Like you have these things, yet what you experience in the world is something very different. You experience kind of pain and suffering and, lack, right? And things that are opposite of what you really want. Maybe you don't. Maybe you actually experience the world as, kind of being pretty great. But oftentimes we can be at battle with the external environment. Well, this person kind of wronged me, or this situation just didn't go my way, or I just don't have that kind of money, Todd. Like, it's great what you're saying around this golden rule, but look, the external world isn't giving me what I really want, right? And you see inherent in that is there's often this tension or this battle between these internal realities or desires and actually what we're experiencing in the world. And I believe what he's getting at, Jesus, is this notion of connecting the two in a very, very unique way. This is a practice. The golden rule is just a sentence. He's telling you what to do. That's what's so cool around this. He's telling you what to do. And I think where we go to with this, and we're going to go a little deeper right now, is this notion that the idea of the internal and the external is just something that we kind of make up to make sense of the world. What if there is no difference between the external, and the internal? Think about it. What if your mind is making this all up? It is, in a sense, right? Like your situations, your people, yourself, the way you look, your situations, it is all being perceived by you. You are making up narratives around everything. And this is kind of a mind-blowing thing to realize, and not something that is just so easily gotten to, because we also, as humans in our modern world, like and love the idea of having very clear structure around how things work. And most of us really have these beliefs, well, I'm me and you're you, and the way that this physical universe works is that there is separation between internal and external. Yet Jesus comes along and others, and they say, no, we are just perceiving creatures. We are literally evolved to perceive the universe, and we have these senses, and we have these eyes and these ears, and we have these thoughts and this mind and this heart and these bodies that are beating and working, and we're just perceiving stimuli out in the universe. And all the people and all the situations are literally just stimuli that are being made into story and narrative by our minds. This is what all the great wisdom traditions tell us. All the great teachers out there that are teaching deep dive mindfulness meditation practice are all pointing to get you to that level of awareness where you can see that this entire experience of being alive is just one by which we are making it up through our perceptions. And I believe the golden rule is this incredible, in a sense, shortcut, which has us realize that, well, do you want all that abundance? Do you want all that peace? Do you want all that flow, all that amazingness? Give it to others. It's not just perception. Give it to others. Make sure that the entire world around you is full of love, full of flow. And that will be your experience internally. It's pointing us in the direction of a unity between mind, body, spirit, the way that the internal and the external works. Right? And at the core of this, treat others and the world as you want to be treated, is this idea that, man, like, do you want that flow? Do you want that purpose? Do you want that creativity? Do you want that love, that kindness? Of course you do. Well, give it to the world. Allow your perceptions in reality to be experiencing that all the time. The way that I often like to hold this is, I've always been so driven professionally. And when I actually started to get this, I was like, well, how do I achieve the level of success that I want? Well, let me train others. Let me help others achieve that success. It's a different way of going about it. I mean, I could, and I still do all these things to get better at what I do and to hone my craft. But I am also connected with the golden rule as much as I can be. I forget too. But remembering that, well, the fastest way to really achieve what I want is to help others get there. To help other men achieve their biggest dreams. My abundance comes from sharing abundance. Giving abundance, right? My health. How do I want my health to be? Well, make sure that others have health and vibrancy and joy and laughter, right? This is a fundamental shift in the way that we typically orient to the world. Broken down into one sentence. Treat others exactly the way that you want to be treated. And again, guys, this is not my stuff, obviously. This is ancient stuff that is known as the golden rule of the Bible. That's why I want to be here with you right now, taking this seriously. What if everything that you're experiencing in the internal environment is just an illusion? It's all your perception. And you have an opportunity to make choices about how you want to treat this world, how you want to treat people. And your choice is related to what you really most want in your heart and your mind. Game changing. Right? Absolutely game-changing to think about this. That's why I wanted to spend this time doing this video, being on this call with 68 other brothers. What's up, Chris? What's up, Jason? I know you guys on this live call are smiling because you're playing with this. And that's really the call, okay, is for you to start playing with the golden rule, right? Start giving yourself the okay to look at things differently. To look at everything out there in your world, your situations, your environments, is stuff that's being made up in a sense, in your own mind. Narratives and stories that are being kind of formulated by just the way that you've evolved. They're just stimuli out there, and you have an opportunity to interact with all the stimuli in the way that you want to. And so connect it with the things that you want. Connect it with the joy. Connect it with the health. Connect it with the money and the abundance and the flow. Treat others how you want to be treated. Do you want abundance in your life? Provide it for others. Do you want massive health in your life? Make sure that everyone in your life has health and vitality. Makes sense, right? End the war by ending the war. Okay? End the internal battle by ending the internal battle. This is a humbling truth, right? We have these ideas about what it means to be alive and human, and we take it so seriously that we are we. I am Todd. I have these stories. I am separate from this universe in a sense. And I'm trying my best. And Jesus comes in and flips it on a switch and says, no, you are not separate. You are part of this. You are perceiving all of this as part of the whole. And start acting in accordance with what you want. Treat everything as you want. And this creates this spin cycle, this change, this vibrancy. And we know people that naturally act this way or have learned to act this way. And they don't have to be religious. They can just naturally gravitate in this way. And there's this magnetism, right? This kind of generosity, this flow, this brightness. We just want to be a part of it. And they're almost like exuding this presence. These people are naturally just giving to the world and others what they want to experience for themselves. It's so beautiful. In our world, brothers, we are living in this crazy world, right? We are being pinged in a million different ways. There is so much stress and anxiety in this world. And maybe the answers are simpler than we thought. I'm just posing the question. Go out and experiment with this stuff for yourself. Go out and start to experience this world in this way. One of the things that Jesus talks about, specifically related to money, is this practice called tithing. This is mind-blowing to me. The idea of giving money to those areas in your life that give you nourishment, right? Like actually using money and generosity to go out into the world in a way that like kind of nourishes you. It's a very direct form of using the golden rule. Like how we deal with money, which is such a direct symbol of that abundance and flow that we have. If you want to look at it from that perceptory standpoint, start thinking about how you're using money, right? Like, can you flow money and generosity in ways that represent what you really want and how you want to receive it? Wow, mind-blowing to think about it that way. That's why I wanted to do this call. So I want you guys to experiment with this. I want you to go out into the world and just play with creating separation between the old idea that we are these individuals cut off from this world and this new idea that we are just perceiving this world, and we can actually have an impact on how we experience this life by how we treat this life. Provide that abundance, provide that flow for everything and everyone around you, and consistently do it. And the last piece I want to share around this is, and I've learned this from my own experience, because it's very motivating to think about, well, I could actually achieve the results. I could achieve the outcomes that I want simply by using this golden rule and giving others in my life these things. And that's cool. Yes, absolutely. But there is a rub, okay? And it really comes into your deeper intention around it. Because I really believe that if you're going to go play with this golden rule and go out there and treat the world as you want to, be experiencing it for yourself, but solely for the motivation because you want to achieve and experience these things for yourself. Not because you are loving, not because you are kind, not because you are being generous, but because you really want to experience those things. Do you see the subtlety of this? The actions need to be pure. You need to love because you love. You need to be generous because you are generous. You need to be kind because there is kindness in your heart. Just allow that to flow. The results happen. It can't go any other way. One of the things that I like to say in our programs is when we go through a process like this, it can't not work. This is true of the golden rule. We are literally shifting our default orientation towards how we perceive things. But don't do it just to get, right? Don't do it just because you want the outcomes. There's an element of selfishness within that doesn't necessarily beget the best of ourselves. So when you're going out there and you're practicing the golden rule and you're going out and you're providing this love and this kindness and this abundance for others and all the things that you want, do it because you genuinely want those people and those situations to thrive. That's why you do it. Cut off immediately any immediate attachment to, well, I didn't get the results. Well, Todd, I've been doing this for a week and nothing's happened, right? You see that? This is the opening of the heart for all of us. So go out and experiment with this and do it because you love. Do it because you want peace for others. Do it because you genuinely want every person in your life to thrive beyond measure, and allow that to be the fuel that drives you. So much love, my brothers. Let me know how this goes.